Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out the GitGud Course. Instead of just understanding concepts, you'll learn how to implement them directly into your driving. What makes it effective is the approach and practical drills. Together, we're gonna focus on breaking down those complex concepts into small digestible bits that are simple to understand. Everything from the course was tested and refined during the years in coaching sessions, so what I ended up with was the ones that I saw were the most effective. Let's elevate your racing skills together. Now for the track guide. Before starting, if you like this video, if you learned something out of it, feel free to give it a like or subscribe to the channel. It will help me a lot with the YouTube algorithm. Now going into the track guide itself, turn 1 can be quite tricky. What I'm using as a reference for braking is the number 1 board around here. I will brake at number 1, and super important around here is to brake in a straight line. In my mind, I'm always wanted to brake straight and barely turn. You will see that the car will start turning on its own a bit to the right side if you feed just a bit, like 5 degrees of steering angle, no more. So whenever we're doing the heavy braking, like right now going to 93%, notice that my steering angle is straight. I even counter steer a bit because the car will lean with all the way to the front tires, and because of that the rear is gonna be a bit looser, and because the rear is looser the car actually rotates a bit more. So all you need is a bit of steering angle, like 5 degrees, and the car will already turn. Like if you're looking right now, from the moment that I put the brakes on till the moment that I really commit to the corner, I'm almost steering straight, so barely any degree. Look at the steering wheel, almost straight, even steering to the left side, and the car is going to the right side. So this is key around here, because otherwise you will lose a lot of time. You won't be able to steer and brake at the same time without going past the grip limit. There's a certain amount of grip available for your tires, and you will use it to either brake, steer, or accelerate. In this case, you're using for braking and steering. And if you add just a bit of more load with your steering wheel input, then you will go past the limit of the grip on your tires and the car will understeer into this corner. So super important to do it. Now in terms of apexes, I'm trying to get a later apex. This was quite early, and you will see that the car goes a bit more towards the left side. So I was able to catch it because there's a slight moment around here that I have a bit of oversteer. But what I would recommend is you apexing closer to the middle of the curve. So not here in the beginning, but around here initially. Just a bit more in front. This will make this corner a bit more consistent. And certainly you don't want to end up here on the left side near the grass. The line will be too long and you will cover longer distance than you should. Now repositioning for the next corner, the better line is the longer line here, because if you will try to go to the shortest path possible by going to the left side near this curve, you will be faced into a corner in which you don't have a lot of time to prepare, and it's better to get on the longer part of the track so that you can prepare it rather than missing it because you take a shorter route. So I'm going here to the right side, and the moment that I'm arriving to this curve, slightly before it, I'm applying the brakes. I'm braking quite hard, 50%, and immediately I go back on throttle. This is gonna be key. So dropping the brakes and instantly 100% throttle, almost in one frame. You go to 0-100 because the car will be very loose here. You can spin the car when doing this. So what happens is that for this corner we brake and turn at the same time, and because of that we go very easily past the grip limit and the rear will start sliding, so you will induce a bit of slip angle by doing this. But if you don't react quickly with your throttle, the car will spin because you have so little load on your rear tires, then the car just wants to drift. The moment that you go on throttle, then because this car has the engine on the rears, the rear tires will get a bit of weight on them by spinning them, and then the car will get their neutral balance. So super important here, brake and throttle super quickly. Aim to get on top of this curb, this is gonna be key. Also, if you do it right, you will arrive all the way to the grass here. And this next corner here, this can be quite tricky to nail the braking point. I'm using this blacker line near the track. So as you can see, there's a bit of part on the track around here with a lighter color. On this lighter color tarmac, there's a darker color line around here. I'm braking on it, and while turning into the corner with second gear, I aim to cut this curb like this in the middle. You want to go over it in the middle, immediately put the throttle back, and then do the same thing for this corner. However, in this attempt I have such a bad exit because sometimes if you don't cut it right, the car will land and it will have a moment like this, and this will lose you 1/10. So be careful here. You want to cut the second curb as well as the first, but be careful when landing to avoid this impact, because right now this is just gonna be a straight line. So the earlier you're gonna be on throttle without corrections, notice those corrections around here. I was forced to do them because of the way that the car landed. So if you can go to 100% throttle, you will gain a lot of time around here. Now for the next corner, here I'm using this kink in the white line to brake. So as you noticed around here, the white line changes trajectory. It goes a bit more towards the left and then it goes straight. Whenever the white line starts to straighten up, that's where I'm applying the brakes, that's where I look. And in terms of apexing around here, this corner was not the best in this lap, so you want to track out a bit more towards the center while going uphill. I kept a very tight line, and as a result I have to drop the throttle because I will go out of track. To fix this and to solve this issue, you have to do one single thing. You have to turn later. So in this case around here, instead of turning like I'm turning right now and trying to get basically an earlier apex, you will go a bit more in center, more towards this part around here, and turn a bit later. So whenever you're committing to your apex point, it will be just a bit uphill around here. That's gonna give you the better exit, and you will also carry more speed on entry. So you have to brake a bit softer, let the car go a bit more in the center of the track while going uphill, and then cut it a bit later to this curve. This is gonna make you have 100% climb with your throttle. So if you see yourself that you're modulating like I'm doing here, take it as a sign of you're doing something wrong, and that's probably with your apex point. Now from this part onwards, everything is a straight line. In third gear, you really want to keep very close to the curves, and you want to open up the corners. Like right now I'm on the white line, I'm turning into the corner, I'm going over this curve, and for this corner right here, again, I'm going over this curve right here, I'm upshifting to fourth after I land, and I'm doing the same for this ones as well. So basically it's a straight line up until that point, but if you're not careful enough and you don't turn at the right point, if you don't open up the corners, then you can be forced into doing a lift. Now for this corner, braking point will be quite difficult. What I'm using is the white line that will appear around here. So whenever I see it, whenever I go uphill, like right now, you don't see it at this point in time. But in just few moments later, like right now, it starts to appear. Whenever I'm seeing it clearly, I'm applying the brakes. I'm braking in a straight line, then I'm turning into the corner, staying very close to this curve, but not going completely over it because the car will bounce back and it's very much likely that it will land in a bad spot. So I'm apexing around the grayish part of the curb, barely touching the green and yellow, putting the power down, and right now this is going to be flat up until the next corner. So right now this is flat, this is going to be flat as well, and for this corner right here, this is going to be the corner where we brake. Super important to cut this curb. So I'm going in this position like this, and after I mount the curb and I'm putting the car all the way to the grass, when the car goes a bit downhill, that's when I'm applying the brakes. So after I'm already on the curb and I'm going a bit downhill, I'm applying the brakes, braking in a straight line, downshifting to third, and mounting this curb as well while putting the power down. I do a small lift here, I don't think it was needed, I didn't have enough confidence. But in short, that's a track guide with the GR86 for Virginia, the North course. I hope you have a great week here, I hope you have some great results. I have to say, if you want to improve at a quicker pace, if you want to take your skills to the next level, I highly encourage you to check out the GitGud Racing course. It's in the video description, so if you want to learn more, if you have time to study, that's probably gonna be a good way to do it. But either way, thanks for sticking around, and I will be seeing you in the next track guide. Bye bye.